She's irrelevant. He said it in Arabic, looking straight at her, calmly justifying her absence while she stood there. A few people laughed. She held the menu. Her hand didn't shake. She stopped beside the table. He was mid-sentence. In Arabic, the words flowed without effort, without the self-consciousness of someone performing fluency. His guest leaned forward, nodding, not understanding every word, but tracking the cadence. He gestured toward her without pausing, not a glance, not a shift in tone, just a hand moving through the air as if indicating something fixed. His fingers traced a small arc, dismissive, functional. His guest smiled first, then laughed. Short, controlled. She stood there, pen ready, posture unchanged. Her face offered nothing. He didn't look at her. The silence around her presence stretched. 3 seconds. 4. 5. No one filled it. The surrounding tables continued, muted, layered. But at this table, the pause held, deliberate, unchallenged. He switched to English without transition. We'll start with the Chateau Margaux 2015. His tone didn't shift. Same rhythm, same detachment. She wrote it down. Her handwriting was steady, even. He turned back to his guest immediately, said something else in Arabic, quieter this time, more measured, the kind of volume that suggests the comment isn't meant to travel. His guest tilted his head slightly, curiosity mixed with amusement. His smile widened by degrees. Another voice from across the table joined in, also in Arabic. Brief, casual, the kind of interjection that turns observation into consensus. Laughter followed, not loud, not performative, just easy. She closed the menu. Her movements were precise. She aligned the edges with her notepad before letting her hand drop. Anything else for now? Her voice was flat, professional, designed to complete a transaction without inviting extension. He glanced at her then. Brief, clinical, the way you'd check a door handle to confirm it had latched. No, one word. No eye contact sustained. No courtesy appended. She turned. Behind her, the conversation resumed in Arabic. Faster now. The restraint had lifted. She caught the rhythm, the rise and fall of someone making a point, the punctuation of agreement. Then his laugh again, short, unhurried. She reached the bar, set the menu down with controlled precision, opened the tablet. The reservation screen still showed the name. Rahman Omar, a party of 4. She entered the wine order. Her fingers moved without pause. From the bar, she could see the table in her peripheral vision. He was leaning back now, one arm draped over the chair beside him. His guest was speaking, gesturing with both hands, animated, building toward something. The rest of the table had settled into the flow, nodding occasionally, leaning in when a point landed. No one looked at her. She picked up 2 water glasses and a ceramic pitcher, balanced them with practiced ease, started back. As she approached, he said something in Arabic, quick, almost offhand. His guest nodded once, slow, deliberate. She set the glasses down. The sound of glass meeting linen was soft, nearly inaudible. She poured carefully. The water caught the light. Her hands were steady, controlled. He didn't pause his sentence, didn't adjust his posture, didn't acknowledge her hands 6 inches from his shoulder. She finished pouring, stepped back. Your wine will be right out. He didn't respond. Didn't nod, didn't blink. She turned, walked back toward the bar, her pace unchanged. Behind her, his laugh again, comfortable, assured. Then another voice, lower, in Arabic, the inflection of a question. She caught the shape of it, not the content. He answered, still laughing. The sound folded into his response. Someone at the table glanced toward the bar, held the look for 2 seconds, not curiosity, just verification, then looked away. She stood at the terminal. Her hands rested on the counter. The order screen showed her name tag reflection in the dark glass. Cruise E. She entered nothing. Just stood there. Weight balanced, posture neutral. The wine order was already in the system. There was no reason to remain at the screen, but she didn't move. From across the room she heard it again. That laugh. Not louder, not different, just uninterrupted. The sound of someone who had never questioned whether he'd be understood, whether he'd be challenged, whether the space he occupied was anything other than entirely his. She exhaled once. Slowly, her fingers rested against the edge of the counter. Then she turned, walked toward the wine storage, her steps even, her face blank. Behind her the table continued, the rhythm unbroken, the language unchanged. Arabic, laughter, agreement. And in the center of it all, that same short laugh, comfortable, constant, unaware. She returned with the wine bottle balanced against her forearm, the label facing outward. The Chateau Margaux, 2015. The glass was cool against her skin. As she approached, the conversation didn't pause. He was speaking in Arabic. His tone had shifted, louder now, more animated. His hands moved as he spoke. His guest was leaning in, nodding. The rest of the table had turned toward Omar, their chairs angled, their eyes fixed. She stopped beside the table, set the wine down. The bottle made no sound. He didn't acknowledge her. She reached for the corkscrew, positioned the bottle, twisted. The cork released with a soft breath. She poured a small amount into his glass. He continued speaking, didn't pause, didn't glance down. His hand cut through the air. The wine glass sat untouched. His guest said something in Arabic. Quick, rising inflection. Omar's response came immediately. His hand gestured broader now. His pace accelerated. The wine glass remained where she'd placed it. She stood there, bottle in hand. 5 seconds. 6. 7. No one at the table looked at her. His guest laughed. Louder this time. Eleanor set the bottle down, stepped back. I'll leave this here for you. Her voice was even. He didn't respond, didn't shift his eyes. She turned to leave. Actually, his voice, in English, abrupt. She stopped, turned back. He was looking at her now, directly. Different glasses. These won't work. The glasses were standard Bordeaux stems, polished, spotless. His guest glanced at the stemware, then at Omar. His mouth opened slightly, closed. He said nothing. Elena held his gaze. Of course. She reached for the wine bottle. Her hand moved past his shoulder, close enough that he shifted back. His chair scraped slightly against the floor. She lifted the bottle, stepped back. I'll bring fresh ones. He didn't respond. His jaw clenched, released. She turned. Behind her, someone said something in Arabic, very quiet. The tone rose at the end. Omar's response was quieter. She didn't pause. Her shoulders remained level. Her hand didn't shake. She reached the bar. Another server was preparing drinks 2 stations down. Elena stood at the terminal, pulled up the next table's order, entered it without reading twice. From across the room, she heard it again, that laugh. His, then another voice, speaking in Arabic. She glanced up. One of the guests at Omar's table was gesturing. Small movements, precise. His eyebrows drew together. His head tilted. Omar's posture shifted. His spine straightened. His smile thinned. He said something back. In Arabic, his volume had dropped. The guest nodded once, then spoke again. 3 sentences, maybe 4. Omar laughed, shorter than before, higher pitched. No one else made a sound. Eleanor looked back at the terminal. Her fingers moved across the screen. The sommelier passed behind her, carrying a decanter. Table 6 needs the Margaux opened. Elena didn't look up. Already done. He try it yet? No. The sommelier's footsteps stopped. Silence. Then he continued toward the wine storage. Elena remained at the terminal. Her hands rested on the counter. The screen had gone dark. From across the room, the conversation at Omar's table had slowed, still in Arabic. But the words came with space between them now. Someone said something, then silence. 4 seconds. 5. Then Omar's voice, lower than before. Each word separate, then his laugh again. No one joined him. The silence stretched. 2 seconds. 3. Then someone responded. 2 words. Flat. Elena picked up 2 fresh wine glasses from the rack. Started back. As she approached, the conversation didn't stop, but the volume dropped. She set the glasses down. One in front of Omar, one beside his guest. Omar didn't look at her. She reached for the wine bottle, poured into the new glass. The sound of liquid against crystal filled the silence at the table. He still didn't look. She finished pouring, set the bottle down. Anything else? He picked up the glass, swirled it once, lifted it to his nose, paused, set it down without bringing it to his lips. That's fine. She stepped back, turned, walked toward the bar. Behind her, the conversation resumed. Words in Arabic, slower, softer, and somewhere in the middle of it, one voice lower than the rest, his. Elena returned to the bar with the original glasses balanced on a small tray, set them down beside the sink without sound. The restaurant had reached its mid-service rhythm. Tables occupied, conversations steady, the mechanical efficiency of a room operating at capacity. She pulled up the next order on the tablet. Table 9, 2 appetizers, 1 modification. Her fingers moved across the screen. From across the room, Omar's table had gone quiet, not silent, but the animation had drained out. The gestures had shrunk. The laughter had stopped. She glanced up briefly. Omar was speaking, in Arabic, but his posture had changed. He was leaning forward now, elbows on the table, hands clasped. The body language of someone explaining. His guest was listening, not nodding, just listening. Another guest had turned slightly away, attention divided between the table and the room beyond. Eleanor looked back at the tablet, sent the order. As she reached for a water pitcher, Omar's voice rose slightly, still in Arabic, a question. The inflection clear even without understanding the words. One of his guests responded, also in Arabic, 3 words, sharp. Precise. Elena picked up the pitcher, started walking toward their section. Omar stopped mid-sentence. She was already moving, crossing the floor with the pitcher angled forward, her path direct. She reached their table, began refilling the water glass of the guest who'd just spoken. No one had signaled for water. No one had made eye contact. She poured steadily. The sound of water filling glass was the only sound at the table. Omar's eyes followed her hand, then her face. She didn't look at him. Finished pouring, moved to the next glass. His remaining guests glanced at each other, brief, uncertain. She completed the refills, stepped back. Anything else? Her voice was flat, professional. No one responded. She turned, walked back toward the bar. Behind her, silence held for 3 seconds, 4. Then one of the guests said something in Arabic, very quiet. The tone was careful, questioning. Omar's response was even quieter. She couldn't hear the words, just the shape of them, defensive, dismissive. Another pause. Then his guest spoke again, longer this time. The rhythm deliberate. Eleanor reached the bar, set the pitcher down. The sommelier was updating inventory. Table 6 is getting tense. Elena opened the next order screen. Yeah. He call you over? No. The sommelier glanced toward the table, then back at his tablet. Huh. Elena's fingers moved across the screen, entering, confirming. From across the room, one of Omar's guests stood, adjusted his jacket, said something brief. Omar stood as well, extended his hand. The guest shook it once, released quickly, walked toward the exit. Elena continued entering the order, her hands steady. Omar sat back down. The remaining guests had shifted, their postures less aligned now. One was checking his phone, another was looking toward the windows. The table felt different, exposed. Omar said something in Arabic, his voice lower than before. The response was minimal. 1 voice, 2 words, then silence. Elena picked up 2 plates from the pass, started toward table 4. As she moved through the room, she passed within earshot of Omar's table again. He was speaking, in Arabic, each word careful, deliberate. His remaining guest responded. The tone was measured. Then the guest stood, also adjusting his jacket. Omar stood, extended his hand. The guest shook it, nodded once, left. Elena delivered the plates, returned to the bar. Omar sat back down. 2 guests remaining now. The table that had been 4 was half empty. She stood at the terminal, pulled up the reservation timeline. Omar's table was booked for another 35 minutes. From across the room, Omar said something, in Arabic. One of the remaining guests responded, brief. Then he stood as well. Omar's hand moved toward his jacket pocket. Stopped, withdrew. The guest said something short, then walked toward the exit. 1 guest left. Elena turned back to the screen. Her fingers moved across it without pause. The last remaining guest was speaking now, in Arabic. The tone was diplomatic, final. Then he stood. Omar stood with him. They shook hands. The guest left. Omar sat alone. The table stretched around him. 4 chairs, 3 empty. The wine bottle still there. 2 glasses, 1 partially filled, 1 untouched. Elena glanced up once. He was sitting, hands resting on the table, his posture rigid, controlled. He hadn't touched the wine, hadn't signaled for service, hadn't looked toward the bar. She looked back at the terminal. A server passed behind her. What happened at 6? Eleanor entered the next modification. Don't know. Everyone just left. Yeah. The server continued toward the kitchen. Elena remained at the screen. Her hands rested on the counter. From across the room, nothing. No conversation, no movement, no sound. Just Omar, sitting alone at a table built for celebration. The wine he'd ordered with such certainty sat untouched. The glass he'd demanded she replace sat empty. The space around him felt larger than it should. She closed the order screen and waited. 5 minutes passed. Omar remained at the table, alone, his posture unchanged, hands resting flat against the white linen. Elena stood at the terminal, reviewing table statuses. Her fingers moved across the screen with mechanical precision. From across the room she heard movement, A chair scraping. She glanced up. Omar was standing, adjusting his jacket. His movements were controlled, deliberate, the kind of composure that requires visible effort. He reached into his inner pocket, withdrew his wallet, opened it, extracted several bills, set them on the table beside the untouched wine. More than enough. Significantly more. He didn't count them, didn't verify the amount, just placed them there and closed the wallet. His hand remained on the wallet for 3 seconds, then withdrew. Elena watched from the bar. He stood for a moment, looking at the table, at the empty chairs, at the wine bottle that had never been poured beyond that single glass. Then he turned, started walking toward the exit. His path took him past the bar. As he approached, his eyes moved to Elena, brief, direct. She looked back, her expression unchanged. He slowed. Not a full stop, just a reduction in pace. His mouth opened slightly, then closed. His jaw tightened, the muscle visible beneath the skin. He continued walking, past the bar without a word, reached the door. His hand touched the handle, paused. He turned his head, not his body, just his head. Looked back toward the dining room. His eyes found her again. She was still watching. He held her gaze. 2 seconds, 3, 4. His hand tightened on the door handle, then pushed through. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Eleanor remained at the terminal. Her fingers rested on the screen, not moving. Through the front window she could see him on the sidewalk, standing, not walking, just standing. His phone was in his hand. Screen dark. He wasn't looking at it. 10 seconds. 15. Then he put the phone away. Started walking. Didn't look back. The sommelier approached from the wine storage. "He leave money?" Elena's fingers moved across the screen again. Yes. Place was tense. She didn't respond. The sommelier glanced toward the empty table, then back at her. "You good?" "Yeah." He nodded. Continued toward the back office. Eleanor turned, walked toward Omar's table. She reached it, stood beside the empty chair he'd occupied. The bills sat in a neat stack, crisp, untouched. She picked them up. The paper felt heavy, dense, counted them once. Her thumb moved slowly across each bill. When she finished, her hand stayed closed around them. 5 seconds, 6. Then she folded them once, placed them in her apron pocket. The wine bottle was still 3/4 full. The glass he'd barely acknowledged sat with a small amount of dark liquid in the bottom. She collected the glasses first, placed them on her tray, then the bottle, the silverware, the napkins, the small plate that had held bread he'd never touched. She cleared the table completely, methodically, each movement economical. When the table was empty, she stood there for a moment. The white linen, 4 chairs, no evidence anyone had been there. Her hand moved to her apron pocket, rested there, then withdrew. She picked up the tray, turned, started back toward the bar. Another server was preparing drinks. "That guy leave?" Eleanor set the tray down beside the sink. "Yes." Looked uncomfortable. Elena began rinsing the glasses. The water ran hot. Steam rose. "Yeah." The server finished his tray, left. Elena dried her hands on a clean towel, returned to the terminal, pulled up the next set of orders. Her fingers moved across the screen, the bills in her apron pocket. She touched them once through the fabric. Her hand stayed there. 3 seconds. 4, then withdrew. She entered the next order. The restaurant continued around her. Conversations, laughter, silverware on plates. She worked through the next hour with mechanical efficiency, taking orders, delivering plates, refilling water, clearing tables. Her expression never changed. Her pace never varied. Her hands remained steady. At one point, the manager stopped by the terminal. "Everything okay this afternoon?" Elena looked up briefly. "Yes." "Table 6 left early?" "Yes." The manager waited. Elena said nothing more. He nodded, moved on. Elena returned to the screen. Her hand moved to her apron pocket again, rested there, the weight unchanged, the meaning unspoken. She entered the next order and continued working. The afternoon shift transitioned into evening. The restaurant's lighting adjusted automatically. Softer now, warmer. The lunch crowd had thinned. Dinner reservations wouldn't begin for another hour. Eleanor stood at the terminal, closing out table accounts. Her fingers moved with practiced efficiency. The sommelier approached, carrying an inventory clipboard. "You working dinner service?" "No. Off at 4. He glanced at the clock on the wall. 20 minutes remaining. "Long day." "Yeah." He walked toward the wine storage. Elena remained at the terminal. Her hand moved to her apron pocket. The bills were still there, folded, heavy. She hadn't transferred them to her personal wallet yet. Hadn't logged them in the tip pool, just left them there. She pulled her hand away, continued entering data. Another server approached. "Hey, can you cover table 12? I need to run to the back." Elena nodded. The server left. Elena picked up a water pitcher, started toward table 12. As she walked through the dining room, she passed the table where Omar had sat. It had been reset. Fresh linen, new silverware, clean glasses. No evidence of what had happened there. She continued to table 12, refilled water glasses, took a drink order, returned to the bar, entered the order, her movements automatic. The manager emerged from the office. "Eleanor," she looked up. His expression was unreadable. "Can you come here for a second?" She followed him to the host stand. He picked up the reservation tablet, turned the screen toward her. "Mr. Rahman called." Her hand, resting on the counter, didn't move. "From table 6, about 20 minutes ago." She said nothing. "He asked to speak with the server who handled his table this afternoon." Silence. "I told him you'd be off shift soon. He said he'd come back." The manager set the tablet down. "He's on his way. Should be here in about 15 minutes. Elena's expression didn't change. "Did he say why?" "No. Just that he needed to speak with you." "Did he sound upset?" The manager paused. "No, he sounded careful." Elena looked at the clock on the wall. 3:47. "You don't have to stay," the manager said. "Your shift ends at 4. If you want to clock out now, I'll stay." The manager studied her face. "You're sure?" "Yes. If there was an issue with service." "There wasn't." He nodded slowly. "All right, I'll be in the office if you need anything." He walked away. Elena remained at the host stand. Her hand moved to her apron pocket, rested there. The bills inside. $340. She withdrew her hand, walked back to the bar. The sommelier was restocking wine glasses. "Everything okay?" "Yeah." Manager looked serious. Eleanor pulled up the next order screen. Her fingers hovered over it. Then she closed the screen, opened her personal locker in the back, removed her apron. The bills shifted in the pocket. She pulled them out, looked at them, then placed them in her personal wallet, closed the locker, put the apron back on. Empty now. Returned to the bar. The clock read 3:51. She stood at the terminal. Her hands rested on the counter. The restaurant continued around her. A few remaining lunch tables, staff preparing for evening service, the ambient sounds of silverware, conversation, movement. She didn't enter any orders. Didn't move from the terminal, just stood there. The sommelier passed behind her. "You waiting for something?" She didn't turn. "Yeah." He continued toward the storage. Elena's eyes moved to the front entrance. Glass doors. The street beyond visible. Late afternoon light slanting through. Empty. She looked at the clock. 3:54. Her hand moved to the counter. Rested there, palm flat against the cool surface. The manager emerged from the office again, glanced at her. Then at the entrance. "You sure you want to do this?" She looked at him. "Yes." "You can leave. I can talk to him." "No." He nodded. Returned to the office. Elena remained at the terminal. 3:56. A server approached with a question about a modification. Elena answered, her voice steady, flat. The server left. Elena's eyes returned to the entrance. Still empty. Her hand moved from the counter, adjusted her collar, smoothed the front of her apron, then returned to the counter. 3:58. The sommelier was arranging wine bottles behind the bar. "Expecting someone?" "Maybe." He glanced at her, then at the entrance. "The guy from table 6. She didn't respond. He set down the bottle he was holding. "That's why the manager looked weird." Elena said nothing. "He coming back to complain?" "I don't know." "You want me to stay close?" She looked at him. "No, it's fine." He picked up the bottle again, continued working. Eleanor's eyes fixed on the entrance. 4 Sao. The clock ticked over. Her shift was done. She didn't move. The doors remained closed. The street beyond quiet. 4:01. Then movement outside. A figure approaching. Dark jacket. Familiar posture. Omar. He reached the door. Paused. His hand on the handle. He looked through the glass. His eyes found the interior. Found the bar. Found her. She was already looking at him. He pulled the door open. Stepped inside. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Omar stood just inside the entrance. His posture controlled, deliberate. The ease had drained from it. He looked at her. She looked back. Neither moved. The restaurant continued around them. A server passed with a tray. Background noise, conversations, silverware. But between them, the space felt compressed. Omar's hand released the door handle. He took 2 steps forward. stopped, still 10 feet away. Eleanor remained at the terminal, hands resting on the counter. The manager emerged from the office, glanced between them, stepped back inside. The door stayed slightly open. Omar cleared his throat. "I'm sorry to come back." His voice was measured, careful. Elena didn't respond. "I know your shift ended. I wanted to speak with you." She remained still. He took another step forward, stopped. "May I?" She nodded once. He approached the bar, stopped at the corner, maintaining distance. His hands rested on the counter's edge. "This afternoon at my table, I think I made you uncomfortable." "You didn't." "I spoke in Arabic several times while you were serving." "Yes, that was inappropriate." She said nothing. His hands shifted on the counter. Fingers drummed once, stopped. "I didn't intend to be disrespectful." "Okay." Flat, non-committal. He looked at her face, searching, finding nothing. "The tip I left was meant to apologize. I received it." Silence. "Did you accept it?" "Yes." He nodded. Slow. The sommelier passed behind Elena, glanced at Omar, continued without comment. Omar's eyes followed the movement, returned to Elena. "When you brought the water the second time, no one had asked for water. Standard service. My colleagues had just said something in Arabic about needing drinks. I bring water when glasses are low. They weren't low." Silence. His hands tightened on the counter. "You heard what they said." Not quite a question, not quite a statement. Elena held his gaze. "I heard them speaking in Arabic." "Yes, but you didn't understand." She didn't answer. His eyes narrowed fractionally. Uncertainty. He exhaled slowly. His shoulders dropped, but his eyes stayed on her face, reading, searching. The manager had moved closer, standing near the host stand, watching. Omar glanced toward him, back to Eleanor. His jaw tightened. "I need to know something." She waited. He straightened. His hands left the counter. "What I said this afternoon, when I called you irrelevant," the word hung between them. "When I explained to my colleagues why your presence didn't matter. When I laughed." His voice had dropped, quieter, more careful. "Did you understand?" Silence. 3 seconds. 4. Then Elena spoke. In Arabic. Her voice was clear, precise, unaccented. Every word. The restaurant didn't stop, but the space between them collapsed. Omar's face went still. Not shock, not anger. Something deeper. A complete recalculation. His mouth opened, slightly closed. His hand moved to the counter, gripped the edge. "You." He stopped. Started again. "In Arabic." "You speak Arabic?" "Yes." Also in Arabic. Her tone unchanged. His grip tightened, knuckles white. "Fluently." "Yes." "Since when?" "Since I was 7. Everything he'd said, every gesture, every laugh. She'd understood all of it. His hand released the counter. He took one step back, his eyes locked on her face, searching for anger, satisfaction, revenge. Finding nothing. She was looking at him the same way she'd looked at him all afternoon. Neutral, professional, unreactive. He switched back to English, his voice rough. "Why didn't you say anything?" "You didn't ask. I spoke Arabic in front of you for—" "I know. You let me—" He stopped. His jaw clenched. "You let me humiliate myself." "No." "Then what would you call it?" "I let you finish." The words were cold, clinical, devastating. His face went rigid. Behind Elena, the sommelier had stopped moving, watching, not understanding the Arabic but reading the body language. Omar's breathing had changed. Deeper, controlled. "My colleagues, the ones who left." "Yes, they know." Not a question. "I don't know what they know." "They left because of you." "They left because of you." The correction was surgical, precise. His hand moved to his face, covered his mouth briefly, dropped. "How many languages do you speak?" Quiet, almost careful. 4. "Which ones?" "English, Spanish, Arabic, French." He nodded. Slow, mechanical. "And you work here." The statement carried weight. Eleanor's expression didn't shift. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I choose to." Silence. Longer this time. Omar's composure had cracked, not broken, exposed. "I'm sorry." In Arabic. Quiet, direct. Elena looked at him. "I know." Also in Arabic. "Is that why you came back?" "Yes." "You already apologized. With the money." "Money isn't an apology." "No." Silence. "But words are?" He didn't answer immediately. Then, "No, not really." She nodded once. He stood there, not moving toward the door, not moving toward her. "I don't know what else to do." The admission was quiet. Eleanor's hands rested on the counter. "You can leave." Not cruel, not kind, factual. He looked at her for a long moment, nodded. "Yes." He turned, walked toward the door, reached it, stopped, turned back. "For what it's worth," he paused. "You're extraordinary." In Arabic. Clear, deliberate. Elena held his gaze. "I know." Also in Arabic. No smile. No warmth, just fact. He opened the door, stepped through. The door closed behind him. Elena remained at the counter. The manager approached. What just happened? He apologized. For what? For this afternoon. What did he do? Nothing that matters now. The manager studied her face. You speak Arabic? Yes. I didn't know that. You didn't ask. He nodded slowly. You staying for dinner service? No. My shift's over. He walked back toward the office. Elena remained at the terminal for one more moment, then logged out, walked to the back, changed, left through the staff exit. The evening air was cool against her skin. Eleanor stood outside the staff exit, jacket zipped halfway. The sounds of the city surrounded her. Distant traffic, voices, ventilation systems. She pulled out her phone. 6:47 p.m. No new messages. She locked it, started walking. The street was busy, pedestrians, cars. The rhythm of early evening. Her apartment was 15 minutes away, same route, same pace, but tonight felt different. Her hand moved to her jacket pocket, where her wallet was. Where the bills were, $340. She touched the fabric, felt the weight, then withdrew her hand. At the corner of 5th and Madison, she stopped at a crosswalk, waited for the light. The light changed. She crossed, continued north. Her phone buzzed. She stopped, pulled it out. A text message. Unknown number. One line, in Arabic. Thank you for your honesty. She stared at the screen, read it twice, then looked up. People passing, cars moving. She locked the phone, put it away, continued walking. 3 blocks later, her phone buzzed again. She pulled it out while walking. Another message. Same number. Also in Arabic. I meant what I said. You are extraordinary. She read it, kept walking, stopped under a streetlight. Her thumb moved to the keyboard, typed in Arabic. Thank you. Simple, direct. She stared at it. 3 seconds, 4. Pressed send, waited. 1 minute, 2. No response. She put the phone away. 7 blocks from her apartment. Started walking again. Her hand moved to her pocket, the wallet. She pulled it out, opened it. The bills were there, folded, crisp. $340. She looked at them, then closed the wallet, put it back. 2 more blocks. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out. Another message, longer this time, in Arabic. I've been thinking about what happened, about what I did, not just today. Over the years, how many times I've assumed, excluded, used language as a barrier. I never thought about who might be listening, who might understand. Today you showed me something I needed to see. Eleanor stopped walking, read the message again. She stood on the sidewalk, people moving around her. Her thumb moved to the keyboard, stopped. She locked the phone, put it away, continued walking. She didn't respond. Not yet. 4 blocks from her apartment now. Her phone buzzed again. She pulled it out. I understand if you don't want to respond. I just wanted you to know. She read it, typed. In Arabic. It wasn't about humiliation. It was about dignity. Mine. She sent it. The response came within seconds. I understand. Then the typing indicator appeared. He was writing more. Elena waited. 10 seconds. 15. The indicator stopped. No message came. She put the phone away. Continued walking. 3 blocks from her apartment. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out. May I call you? She typed. No. Send. Immediate response. I understand. Text is better. Then another message. May I ask you something? Yes. The typing indicator appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, why didn't you correct me? Earlier. When I first spoke Arabic at the table. She started walking again, slower now. Her thumb moved across the keyboard. Because you needed to finish. Send. Finish what? She stopped at the corner, 1 block from her apartment building. Typed carefully. Whatever you were trying to prove. Send. Long pause. Then, and what was I trying to prove? She looked at the message. Didn't answer immediately, then typed. That you were better than me. Her thumb hovered over send, then pressed it. The typing indicator appeared immediately. 5 seconds. 10, 15, then stopped. A message came. You're right, nothing else. The indicator appeared again. And was I? She typed. No. Send, then typed again. But you already knew that. Send. The response came fast. Yes, I did. Then nothing. Elena waited. 30 seconds, 1 minute. No more messages. She put the phone in her pocket, looked up at her building, walked the last block, climbed the stairs, unlocked the door, stepped inside. The apartment was quiet, small, clean. Books on shelves, windows facing the street. She set her keys on the counter, her phone beside them. The screen lit up with a notification. Another message. She looked at it, didn't pick up the phone yet. After a moment she picked it up, opened the message, in Arabic. The money I left. What will you do with it? She read it, set the phone down without responding, walked to the window, looked out at the city. Lights, movement, life continuing. Her phone buzzed again on the counter. She didn't turn around immediately, then walked back, picked up the phone. Another message. I'm sorry, that's not my business. She looked at it. Her thumb moved to the keyboard, stopped. She set the phone down, walked to the kitchen, poured water, drank. The phone screen had gone dark. She picked it up, unlocked it, typed in Arabic. I'm going to donate it. Send. The response came quickly. To what? She typed. I haven't decided yet. Send. Pause. Then, that's good. Better than I deserve. She read the message. Didn't respond. Set the phone down. Her phone buzzed one more time. She picked it up. One last message. Short. In Arabic. Good night, Elena. She read it. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. Then typed, good night, send. She set the phone down, walked to her bedroom, changed, got ready for bed. The phone stayed on the kitchen counter, silent now. 3 days passed. Elena worked her shifts. The restaurant continued its rhythm. No one mentioned Omar Rahman. No one asked about table 6, but Elena's phone held 17 unread messages, all from the same number, all in Arabic. She hadn't opened them. On the third evening after her shift, she sat at a small cafe, ordered tea, opened her laptop, searched, Refugee Services Language Programs New York. One stood out, the New Bridges Language Center, refugee-led, community-funded, free Arabic, Spanish and English classes for newcomers, childcare provided, job placement assistance. She read the entire website, pulled out her phone, opened her banking app, transferred $340, transaction complete. Her phone buzzed. A notification from the Language Center. Thank you for your donation. Your support helps us serve 47 families this month. She read it, finished her tea, left. When she reached her apartment, she stood in the kitchen, phone in hand, opened her messages. 17 unread. She scrolled through them, not reading, just seeing the timestamps. Day 1, 4 messages. Day 2, 7 messages. Day 3, 6 messages. She opened the first message. Day 1. Morning, in Arabic. I couldn't sleep last night. I keep thinking about what you said. About dignity. I've been replaying every moment. I see it differently now. I see myself differently, and I don't like what I see. Next, I spoke to my colleagues, the ones who left. They were polite, but I could tell. They see me differently too. One of them said, we thought you were better than this. Past tense. Next, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that what happened mattered. It changed something in me. Next, I looked up the cost of Arabic language courses in New York. Do you know how much people pay to learn what you learned as a child? What you carry so quietly? I never thought about that. She paused, walked to the window, picked up the phone again. Day 2 messages. I keep wondering what would have happened if you'd responded. That first time. If you'd answered me right there, would I have apologized? Or gotten defensive? I think I know the answer. It makes me ashamed. Next, I told my sister what happened. She was quiet for a long time. Then said, good, you needed that. She's right. This wasn't the first time. Just the first time I got caught. Next, I went back to the restaurant today. Didn't go inside. Just watched through the windows. I saw you. Serving tables, professional, composed, like nothing had happened, and I realized, to you I probably didn't matter. You deal with people like me every day. Eleanor sat on her couch, kept reading. That's what hurts most. Not that you caught me, but that I'm probably not even memorable. Day 3 messages. I've been thinking about the money. You said you'd donate it. I keep wondering where. I want to contribute, not to make myself feel better, but because it's the right thing. Next, I'm sorry for sending so many messages. I know you don't owe me responses. I just need you to know that this mattered, that you mattered, that what you did, not reacting, just letting me finish, took more strength than I've ever had to show. Next, my colleague texted yesterday. He said, apologize properly, not with money, with honesty. I told him I tried. He said, try harder. Next, so I'm trying. I was wrong, not just about you, about the way I move through the world, about the assumptions I make. I was wrong about all of it. The most recent sent 2 hours ago. I'm going to stop now. Stop sending messages. You've given me enough. I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm sorry. And if you ever decide where to donate that money, I'd like to contribute. Elena set the phone down, sat in the quiet, then picked it up, typed, in Arabic, New Bridges Language Center, refugee-led, community-funded. I donated the money there today. Paused, continued. If you want to contribute, here's the website. Copied the link, pasted it, added one more line. They do good work. Pressed send, made tea, sat at the table, her phone buzzed. She waited a minute, picked it up. A message, in Arabic. Thank you, I'll send something tomorrow. The typing indicator appeared. 10 seconds. 20. Then, I looked at the website. It's exactly what you said. Good work. Real work. The kind that actually matters. Pause. I'm sending $5,000. It's not about the amount. It's about showing up. Finally. She typed. They'll appreciate it. Send. Long pause. Thank you for telling me, for trusting me with this. Another pause. And thank you for 3 days of silence. I needed that too. Elena read it. Didn't respond. Set the phone down. Finished her tea. The phone buzzed once more. She picked it up. Good night, Elena, she typed. Good night, send. She set the phone down. And this time when she exhaled, it felt different. Not complete, but lighter. 2 weeks later, Elena stood at the bar during the mid-afternoon lull. The restaurant was quiet. Soft daylight through the windows. Her phone buzzed in her apron pocket. She pulled it out. An email notification. From the New Bridges Language Center. Subject, thank you and impact update. She opened it. Dear Elena, we wanted to reach out personally to thank you for your donation and for connecting us with Mr. Rahman. His contribution of $5,000 has allowed us to expand our evening childcare program and hire 2 additional instructors. Because of donors like you, we're now serving 63 families, up from 47 just 2 weeks ago. 16 more children have safe places while their parents learn English. We know that every donation comes from somewhere meaningful. We don't know your story, but we know your impact, and we're grateful. With gratitude, Amira Khalil, Executive Director. Elena read it twice, then locked her phone. Put it away. The sommelier approached. You good? Yeah, he continued past. Elena remained at the terminal. For the first time in 2 weeks, she thought about Omar Rahman, not about what he'd done, about what came after. She pulled out her phone, opened her messages. The last exchange was 2 weeks old. Good night, Elena. Good night. Nothing since. She typed in Arabic. The Language Center sent an update. Your donation helped 16 more children get childcare while their parents learn English. Paused. Added. Thank you for following through. Pressed send. Returned to work. 20 minutes later, her phone buzzed. A response. In Arabic. Thank you for telling me. That means more than you know. Pause. I've been thinking about what you said. About dignity. I've been trying to understand it differently. Not as something I give to people, but as something people already have. That I just need to recognize. She read it. Another message. I'm working on it. It's harder than I thought. Unlearning is harder than learning. She typed. Yes. Send. Long pause. I won't take more of your time. I just wanted you to know I'm still thinking about this. Still trying. She typed. That's good. Send. Another pause. If I'm ever at the restaurant again, would it be okay to request your section? She stared at the question, then typed. If you're ever at the restaurant again, you should request whoever is working. They'll all take good care of you. Send. The typing indicator appeared. 10 seconds. 15, then disappeared. No message came. Elena put the phone away. A server approached. Table 9 needs water. Elena picked up a pitcher, walked to table 9. Her phone buzzed again. She pulled it out. One message, in Arabic. You're right. Thank you. Then another, for everything. She typed, you're welcome. Send. That was it. No more messages came. The afternoon continued. Tables filled. Service progressed. Elena moved through it, with the same efficiency she always had. At the end of her shift, she clocked out, changed, left. The evening air was cool, the city alive. She started walking home. Her phone buzzed. Another email from the Language Center, a newsletter, photos of the new childcare space, smiling children, parents in classrooms. One photo showed a woman, mid-30s, hijab, holding a certificate. Caption, congratulations to Fatima on completing Level 3 English. She starts her new job as a medical translator next week. Elena looked at the photo, put the phone away, continued walking. She reached her building, climbed the stairs, unlocked the door. Inside, she walked to the window, looked out at the city. She thought about Table 6, about Omar Rahman, about 17 messages and $5,000, and 16 children with childcare, about dignity, about language, about how sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let someone finish. She pulled out her phone, took a screenshot of the newsletter, the photo of Fatima, opened Omar's conversation, attached the photo, typed in Arabic. This is what your $5,000 looks like. Send. Didn't wait for a response. Made tea, sat at her table. Her phone buzzed. A message in Arabic. Thank you for showing me. Another message. I'll keep contributing, not for you, not for me, for her and for the others. She typed one word. Good. Send. Finished her tea. And for the first time since that afternoon 2 weeks ago, she smiled. Small, brief, but real. The next morning, Eleanor woke to sunlight. Her phone showed one new message from Omar, sent late last night in Arabic. I hope someday I can be someone you're not ashamed to have taught. She read it. Typed, I'm not ashamed. I never was. Pause. Added, you just needed to see yourself clearly. Send. She got ready for work. Her phone buzzed. Thank you, Eleanor, for everything you didn't say, and everything you did. She read it, didn't respond, put the phone in her pocket, left for work. The restaurant was the same. The tables, the silverware, the white linen. Table 6 was empty when she arrived. By noon it was occupied by a family, parents, 2 children, celebrating a birthday. Elena served them with the same care she gave everyone. When they left, the father handed her the check with a smile. Thank you. The service was excellent. In English. Careful. Accented. She smiled back. You're welcome. As she cleared the table, she noticed something. The tip was generous, respectful, and written on the receipt, thank you for your dignity. She looked at it for a moment, put it in her apron pocket, continued working. Stories like this happen because someone chose silence over reaction, dignity over revenge. Elena didn't raise her voice, didn't make a scene. She just waited. And in that waiting, something shifted permanently. If this story made you think about the power of restraint, the weight of language, or the quiet strength it takes to let someone finish their own mistake, subscribe. Because this channel has more stories about people who chose patience over pride, who understood that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, until the exact right moment. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, comment. Would you have responded immediately or waited? The next story is already waiting. Thank you for watching.